Please go subscribe to the Rumble channel for Franchise Sports TV under the name FSTV22. Now, I'm using that Rumble channel for any purposes of me getting kicked off YouTube and also for more of my spicier joints. It's free as well, and I have the freedom to say whatever I want to say as well. So go subscribe to FSTV22. That is Franchise Sports TV 22 on Rumble. Now, in my previous video about Kevin Garnett talking about possibly LeBron being the GOAT, right? He also said something very interesting, and I hope I didn't say Kevin Garnett. I hope I said Kevin Garnett. Sometimes I be catching myself saying Kevin Durant when I'm supposed to say Kevin Garnett. But KG said something also interesting that I want to point out. He's talking about today's NBA. And we get so focused on the past and not appreciating what's in front of us, which I have no problem dealing with. I do like some of the players, the younger players that are coming up, like Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, people like that. But here's the problem with some of today's NBA. Now, you guys probably have heard me talk about before. It's so fine and dandy. These guys are faster, can dunk out the gym, jump out the gym, supposedly have more skill and everything. That's all fine and dandy. They're a little bit more entertaining than the players of the past. But one of the reasons why we like to refer to players of the past all the time and other things, because it's a couple of things that KG's also forgetting. These dudes do not like playing sometimes. I like that Anthony Edwards, he's a dog. He wants to be on the court. But some of these dudes, they don't like being on the floor. Kind of, it reminds me of boxing these days too. These dudes in boxing now, they don't want to fight each other. I don't know how many times we've been robbed of great fights, possibly great matchups between fighters, but they don't want to fight each other. They want to make all the money, but they don't want to fight each other. Same thing with these basketball players. They don't want to show up for work. And another thing that some people, it just flies over especially the younger crowd's heads all the time when it comes to basketball. And I kind of referred to this in the video about the Bucks. Defense and having a mentality, the mind for the game. See, basketball, some people just get caught in basketball with just being, and I say this all the time with the team I used to be on for this league, and even when playing in pickup. And it's something that was ingrained in me coming up playing basketballs too, by my own dad. It's all fine and dandy that you can shoot well, you can dribble well, you can dunk, you run fast, do all this stuff, right? But if you don't have the mentality and the mind for the game to outsmart your opponent, to be 10 steps ahead of your opponent, all that doesn't even matter. Heart for the game, if you don't have the heart for the game, all that doesn't even matter. Perfect example of that is Anthony Davis. Sure, I'm sure he's skilled. I'm sure he's great. But if you don't have the heart and compassion for the game, the mental capacity, all of that, then you're useless out there. I'm sure Anthony Davis can put up 30 and 15 in one game. But if you can't do that against everybody, which we've seen examples of Anthony Davis not doing, perfect example is him going against Sabonis a couple of weeks ago, then it's useless. AD is useless out there if you're not going to do that every game. It's the same thing in the NFL too. I'm sure these guys can throw a pigskin a quarter mile away. But if you don't have the X's and O's in your head, the smarts, the basketball IQ or football IQ to play, then you're useless. Or I would just say useless. The product sucks. See, it's not about romanticizing past NBA. It's also acknowledging that these players from back in the day are probably a little bit smarter basketball IQ than some of these players today. These dudes today make stupid passes, stupid plays, shooting threes when they're not supposed to, not knowing how to play on the defender. If the defender is a right-hand defender and he likes to go right, which way should he make him go? That's right. Force him left. If he's a right-hand defender, the first going right hand, force him to his weak hand. I don't see much of that these days. These dudes be blowing right past these dudes these days. That's the type of stuff when it comes to basketball IQ. And even Lee Homelander, how should I say this? He has basketball IQ, but it's not as great as everybody makes it out to be. Perfect example of that, the last 5 seconds of that game against the Dallas Mavericks, instead of trying to pass it to AD who's being double teamed or even has 2 defenders near him, this guy decides to dump it to AD, which has 2 defenders on him, where he has Kyrie Irving, who is 6'2" on him. If LeBron James had a deadly mid-range or even a 3-pointer shot that you know is going to go in, he wouldn't have to pass it to AD. Now would he? But since he doesn't, croaks at the moment, freezes at the moment. When the rough gets rough, oh, I'm going to pass it to somebody else. But I made the right play. Oh, you made the right play, or like turn the ball over. Equaling another notch in your turnover column of, I don't even know what it is, over 5,000. I know that much. I stopped counting after he got 5,000 because that's all I was worried about. Now that he's the career all-time leader in turnovers for eternity, because I don't think anybody else is going to catch that. What are you doing? Anyways, sorry about that. But yeah, KG, all that you said on that what was it, podcast with Stephen A. Smith sounds all good and daddy to people who don't really know basketball, but to people who study, watch the game, even play the game like yourself, not on your level, but just play the game on levels below you, know that some of these players today, and the game today, the NBA game today is a 3-point contest. These dudes don't use are limited with their basketball IQ. It's nothing about the game today is nothing about a 3-point contest. It's one of the reasons why I don't like watching it. It's the same thing with the NFL. I don't like watching the NFL because some of these dudes out here today at these quarterback positions, and oh my gosh, they're terrible. Watching some of these football games the past weekend, oh my goodness gracious. I would rather watch college football. But anyways, that's all I gotta say.